Joining us today is a professional mixed martial arts fighter who is on a 6-fight win streak, has had one of the best careers in LFA history, and is just coming off a win defending the LFA lightweight title in one of the best fights of 2025. Soon to be UFC fighter. Welcome to the show, Richie El Machete Miranda. It's an absolute honor, sir. Congratulations on your recent title defense. How you doing?
Good. Thank you, bro. That was a hell of an intro. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on the show as well.
Absolutely. Long time coming. And you know what, Richie? We're just going to rip the Band-Aid right off. You are our second guest to connect with me over, well, proving me wrong. Ryan Cafaro also reached out after winning his fight in Cage Fury FC saying, hey, Isha, City Life, you picked against me. You picked against me there. How'd you like my performance? So I'm admittedly eating crow right now, Richie. Ladies and gentlemen, Richie Miranda, a very well-rounded fighter, but in all seriousness, man, tell us about finally getting that title shot in April, right before we first connected, and just like the fight week leading up to that and the fight itself from your perspective.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I got the title shot at a perfect time. You know, I've been with LFA for a while. I feel like a lot of people get the title shot real quick. And then it was supposed to happen in December back in my hometown in Commerce. Unfortunately, you know, Richie Lewis pulled out. But then, you know, we fought in South Dakota, which was awesome for me because that's where I started my first fight at my career with LFA. So going there and getting another finish in the same arena, you know, it was electrifying. And then, yeah, dude, I mean, going into the fight week, you know, I got there on Tuesday, you know, got a shakeout, had enough time to rest and cut weight. Weight cut went smooth. And then, yeah, you know, it was the first time doing all the interviews and stuff for the media, and that went well. I'm always good with that. And, you know, the day of the fight, it was just, you know, chopping time and go out there and show Machete style. And, you know, had a bunch of momentum going into the fight as the rounds went on, and, you know, ultimately ended up getting the finish in the 5th round.
Talk about El Machete style. Like, let's get into the latest fight here. Like I said in the intro, arguably fight of the year in LFA, but you could like make an argument for like the regional scene globally. That was a hell of a 5-round war. Your recent title defense. Now, I thought, and people watching and listening can check back the live stream and tape, I thought round 1 was a swing. Round 2 was 100% yours. 3 was close, but yours. At the end, you came back. 4, same sort of thing, came back at the end. And 5, you know, went to your opponent. So 3-2 for sure. At worst with no 10-8s, in my opinion. It seemed pretty clear to me. And due to your just, you know, veteran and what I like to call like major organization level savviness to end round strongs, that's what ultimately, in my opinion, like won you the fight, just that inner dog in you. But I want to ask, was it even on your mind, like in the 3rd or 4th round, to make what seemed to us like those obvious adjustments? Because that's when you first started, in my opinion, to face adversity in that fight.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the game plan was to take them down as soon as possible, or whenever I found a clear shot. But dude, it was so hot in there, no AC. Dude, we were slipping off, you know. And yeah, I knew that judges, you know, the last thing they see is who ends up on top or who does the most damage. So yeah, in my you know, my sense, I was just like, dude, I got to end the round on top. And I knew every time I got on top, he was looking for a way out to quit. And then I noticed that in the 2nd round when he covered up, and, you know, I was just landing vicious ground and pound elbows. And yeah, dude, I was just trying to finish anytime I got on top.
Just to jump on something you said there, like ending the round strong, do you think guys in North America in particular, or any league or promotion under the unified rules, think about that enough in North America?
I think it's a little like 50-50, you know, but I think it just depends on their style. But I mean, for me, it's just, you know, that's the last thing the judges see. So, you know, and especially if you're violent on top, dude, the ref's going to step in there. You know, of course, we had a veteran and Frank Trigg ref in the fight, former UFC fighter and title contender. And, you know, he let it play off, and, you know, he got saved by the bell.
Hey, from a fan perspective, it made for a hell of a show for us. So
Yeah.
maybe there's some complaints out of your camp when that went down, but for us, we're like, man, that was unbelievable. Was that the toughest fight you've ever fought as a pro? If not, run us through some of your other ones.
No, I would say, I mean, I had fun, I clearly remember the fight. The toughest one was the 6'3" Brazilian I fought, former world champion. Yeah. That was Maicon Mendoca. Yeah.
Dude, that was an insane performance as well. Because I remember when he walked out, I was like, okay, big guy walking out. Then you walked out, and I was like, oh my god, he's so much bigger. He's so much
Yeah,
bigger.
dude, he was so tall, and he was a good striker. Got me with some good knees to the body. I mean, I ate him, but he got me good. Yeah.
Hey man, well, tough as nails, like we've seen in most of your fights. And again, congrats. There's no doubt in my mind, like a UFC call up is the next thing in your path, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
A UFC call up is next, given your resume and now defending gold. Let's turn back the clock a little bit here. You had a very impressive amateur career, going 7-1 in basically just 2 years. What inspired or led you to martial arts and ultimately, prize fighting here as a professional athlete?
Yeah. So once I finished up wrestling, I wrestled at the age of 14. Then went on to Santa Ana College, All-American twice there. Then I got the opportunity to wrestle at Nebraska Kearney, UNK, where a lot of wrestlers have transitioned very well to MMA, like Kamaru Usman, Rafael Stotts, Jens Pulver, Ellenberger brothers, Romero Cotton. And yeah, dude, I still had a year left of school left, and there was a gym, Kearney Combat Sports, with my first MMA coach, Richard Barajas. And, I just watched MMA, UFC on TV a lot. And then I was just like, dude, I need to get back into, I miss competing. And then I got in there, 4 months later, had my first amateur fight and got a second round TKO.
Let's see what he does here with his clinch work and his cage work. Looks like he's going for that high crotch. Takes him down and heads directly to full mount, which is going to press Richie Miranda into wanting that double leg takedown against the fence.
You can see the grind is really taking it to Taylor. He's breathing pretty heavy.
He's punching you in the face. That creates some pressure. That creates some stress, believe me. It's hard for me to imagine this fight going any other way than in Richie Miranda's favor if Ian Taylor doesn't get to work here. He's got to start moving and protecting himself, and I'm sure the referee is making Taylor very aware that if he doesn't get moving, this thing's going to get stopped early. And see, you can see Richie Miranda trying to sneak that arm under for possibly getting a rear naked choke there. And here's the stoppage, and I do not disagree with it, ladies and gentlemen.
So it was wrestling and just the competitiveness that got you into martial arts. It wasn't like watching Bruce Lee movies or anything like that growing up?
No. I watched a lot of boxing growing up too. I wanted
that's what
to.
I've heard in your other interviews. Yeah, that's what I heard in some of your other
I wanted
interviews.
to start boxing, but unfortunately, my parents worked all the time and didn't have the time to take me, so I didn't get into martial arts, and so I started wrestling at 14 in high school.
It's kind of funny. I grew up in Canada. My mother's American, my dad's Persian, and all I wanted to do was play hockey, but they're like, we can't afford it, and you're not tough enough, so we're going to put you in martial arts so that you can become tough enough, so that maybe someday you can play hockey. So I know California's been a hotbed for MMA fighters since like the 90s, so it's a tighter community, but when did you first link up with Cub Swanson and like the whole Bloodline team?
Yeah, so I had a teammate, Danny Silva, which I train with now. He ended up, when I was still at CSW, training for a year. And that's when I was, we were mixing up training with, it still wasn't Bloodline, but, with Cub and the people that were with him and Danny. So I want to say around 2020, 2021 is when I was, started training a little bit with Cub, and then mainly at CSW, and then moved on to the Den with my former coach, Ben Jones. And then I left after my last fight in Kentucky. That's when I joined. So I've been with the Bloodline team in Cub for about a year now.
Okay. Dude, I was just looking at some of the names and some of the guys you got together there. It's absolutely insane. So There's like some established guys. There's some savage prospects coming in, both pro and on like the amateur side. And not to mention some of the guys you've like trained with in the past at CSW as well. Like, are there a few guys you'd want to mention who maybe like just elevated your game as well, even in like the last year, dating back to like when you were starting as an amateur or as a pro?
Yeah, no, first one, my longtime training partner is Jacob Rosales. You know, I've been him since I joined CSW, and then now we're both at Bloodline. But yeah, you know, I got Danny Silva, Legion Douglas, who's fighting next Tuesday. You know, we had a Eduardo Chapulin fight yesterday on Contender Series. And then we have Rafa Garcia also fighting UFC Noche. So he's coming up. And, you know, of course, Cub, you know, Mastermind. And then, you know, who else do we have? Chris Macate. We have Joao Jimenez, Arnold Jimenez. So yeah, we have a bunch, dude. We have a bunch of killers.
It's crazy. Like I was just going down like the website and Tapology list, and I was like, oh my God, like, and in multiple leagues and in major organizations, but especially you mentioned a few names from like LFA. Like, you're part of the guys who are literally like conquering LFA right now, which is arguably, you know, from a hockey perspective, the AHL to the NHL. Like, it's one of the best feeder leagues to the UFC / developmental leagues. It's your guys' time to make your mark in the UFC. After amateur, you took a huge step up in competition as a pro earlier than most in your career. Did you just find yourself ready for the deep end due to all your amateur experience and the guys you were training with, or did you just want to test yourself and get live reps right off the bat?
Yeah, so pretty much after my last amateur fight, which was right before COVID in January, because COVID happened like February, March. My coach Ben Jones, he was like, you know, it's time to go pro. So then I had a fight scheduled in April, but you know, unfortunately, no shows and all that stuff going on got canceled, and then didn't end up turning pro till 2021. But yeah, I had one fight in Nebraska, then one fight at OC Fight Club, which is a venue like 10 minutes from my house, and then I fought for Cage Warriors. So that was the first big organization.
Nasty submission.
There's tons of pressure here, and you see immediately Dean. That's a beautiful outside read. Trying to go straight to the back, hooks in. Rolls him over, he's under the neck initially.
This is his position.
Yep. Thank you. Then, yeah, dude, I was trying to get on LFA for a while, but they didn't pick me up until after Cage Warriors. So, yeah, I just been with LFA. They've been great for my career. You know, I've had 10 fights with them, you know, holding the belt right now as a champion. And, you know, I love LFA. I couldn't thank them enough. You know, Mark Berry and Edisaurus for all their help. And, yeah, back to your question. Yeah, dude, I was just ready to go pro. And, you know, I've never turned down a fight. And, you know, I just take one fight at a time and, you know, try to break my opponent, chop them up, and then finish them. You know, that's what I go in there to do.
And despite you being involved in, you know, some tough fights, some wars, chopping guys up, you're relatively active. What's your maybe secret but not so secret to staying healthy and or, you know, rehabbing some, you know, bumps and bruises you do get along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I stay in the gym all year round. You know, I try to stay relatively close to my weight, you know, eating healthy. Of course, I like to have fun here and there, but yeah, you know, and recovery is just as important as training, you know. So shout out to AMA, you know, regenerative medicine for keeping me healthy. And, you know, I got a sauna and ice bath at home, so I'm always investing in myself. And yeah, dude, just staying on top of me, my body, you know. Think of it like I'm a F1 car, you know. I gotta keep the fuel in the tank.
No, absolutely. And since moving to Minnesota, where I'm at right now, I've been getting into the sauna. I've always loved sauna and cold plunge, but now I'm like really taking it seriously now that I have
you need it out there in the winter.
Bro, I literally have the Lake Minnetonka where Prince used to live on, right? And all these, you know, NHL players and Vikings, they all live on Lake Minnetonka. And one of my podcast clients, his nephew plays for the NHL and he has a brewery out here, but he's hilarious. He's all about health and wellness despite him being a brewery owner. So he has like a sauna and all these like other health stuff and more like NA products than even like beer on the menu. So yeah. I mean, the perks of working with him, all his clients are like professional athletes and all these like health whizzes. And then after I just get to use this beautiful custom sauna, I get to jump in the water. Well, yeah, frozen lake. So
that's awesome.
It's been amazing. And again, I'm far from an athlete, but you know, I just, as a layman, as just a normal ass person, I've been seeing the benefits of that just alone, helping with sleep, recovery, and actually being able mental clarity and being able to like, push myself as I'm now in my 30s to just like, try to stay healthy and hit the gym. So I always just nerd out and get excited when I hear athletes, talk about that. It's one of those things that like humans have had forever, and the Norwegians have been doing it forever, and like hockey players in Russia and Finland, and same with fighters and boxers out there. I mean, look at the Dagestanis too. What are they doing in the mountains? They're sauna and cold plunging like almost year round.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, health is wealth, brother.
Absolutely. And you talked a little bit about these LFA and how you really wanted to sign with them. And since now being with them for 10 fights, they've just really taken good care of you. Is that the reason why you've been so loyal to them, is because they've taken great care of you? Because I'm sure you've gotten offers, or there have been conversations to fight in other leagues.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've always gotten in between fights, gotten other offers. But yeah, I was with LFA, I was on a 3-fight contract and then renewed here and there. But of course, if the UFC calls, I was always available to leave. And yeah, dude, just, LFA is the biggest feeder program to the UFC. So, I've always loved fighting for them.
So outside of fighting and training and recovery, which I know you just said like consumes pretty much all of your time, tell us more about you. Like, what do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? Just a little bit more about the person, Richie, not the athlete.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, chill, hanging around, hang out with my family, hang out with my girlfriend, friends, go visit coffee shops with my girl. I like snowboarding. I have a motorcycle. I have a chopper, so I like riding that with my pop. Yeah, dude, motocross. So, I mean, I'm pretty much out there, outdoor person. So, yeah, I like to do all kinds of stuff. Anything that gives me an adrenaline rush, for sure.
Hey, and living out west is a perfect canvas.
Yeah, we got the mountains, we got the desert, we got the beach, we got it all.
Yeah, living, man, living. Well, I really appreciate it. I got one more question that I'll wait till right before we wrap up. But this portion of the show, we have exclusive members on our channel who go above and beyond to support our channel, and a lot of the fighters on the regional scene and coming up as well. And I always give them an opportunity, since they go above and beyond to support the City Life Project, that they get a segment to just ask any of our guests some questions. So I got a list of ones here. You can answer them however long you want. If it's like a one you want to fire through, you can fire through, Rishi. If you want to be like, oh, actually, I want to roll with this one, this is all for you. But shout out to our friend Showweather at I am the captain now, says, this one makes me chuckle. What walkout song did Richie use in his fights versus James Wilson and Keegan Greenwich? I know it's some Memphis ass shit, but Shazam won't give it up. Trash app.
Yeah, it's called Creeping Like a Hitman by Kingpin Skinny Pimp.
There you go.
And then my last one was Mask on the Glock. Been bumping that one a while too.
All right. So there you go, Showweather. There you go. My boy Shane Van Ice asks, what do you do to get in the zone before a fight?
I mean, I just stay locked in, stay in the present, just replay scenarios in my head of how the fight's going to go on and what I want to do in the fight. And yeah, just pretty much, dude, just feeding that killer mentality to go out there and chop these fools up.
Let's go. Our friend Hole in Dan Sock. You get all the fun usernames from my subscribers. What is your dream finishing move to pull off in a fight?
I mean, I've tried to get it a bunch of times, but I would always want to finish with a knee bar.
Oh,
leg locker. Yep. CSW. Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. Our friend at No Chill MMA, also a YouTuber, I'm sure he'll reach out to you after listening to this as well. Do you believe you're the best lightweight in the world?
Oh, yes. I believe I'm one of the best lightweights in the world. And, I can't wait to prove it once I get into the UFC. And, just like I did with LFA, take one fight at a time, take some names, then get into the rankings and work my way up the ladder to a UFC title. Lightweight,
especially in the UFC now, like it's the new crop coming, right?
Yeah.
Like the old guard's still there, but like they're on their last few fights. So it's exactly. Really cool to see this new crop coming in, and like you're part of that.
No, thank you. Yep.
Our friend Chris Cushman is asking, out of all the fighters past and present, who would you want to train with out of any fighter?
I mean, my favorite one is Dustin Poirier, bro. So I would like to train with him.
Nice. I mean, just talking about the old guard, right?
Yep.
Yep. Chris Cushman also says, if you have time, ask him how he feels about and I mentioned this earlier, the superior rule set, the Japanese rule set of MMA.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I love it. You know, if we were at, I mean, now with the 12-6, you know, I was able to hit one couple with Richie Lewis and this past fight. But yeah, dude, I love those Japanese rules.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm kind of like, everyone rolls their eyes at me now whenever I'm calling UFC fights or even any North American mixed martial arts, and I see someone on both knees and someone grab the neck, and I'm just like, man, in Japan, like just 2 knees and the fight is over.
Yeah.
Like, Isha, shut the up, like.
Yeah, dude, those pride days, and now too, you know, it's awesome to watch.
Everyone always says like the pride rules. Ryzen's rules are actually more brutal and they're more complete in my mind because they actually allow elbows now, right? Whereas Pride was, they had the TV deal, and despite the Japanese being so hardcore, they were like scared of blood on TV. But now since everything's pay-per-view, it's a complete 180 in that now the refs like won't stop the fights for, you know, cuts like we see here in North America and in Europe, which is pretty cool. Last one here from our friend Mr. Bombastic. He says, out of all of your opponents, does anyone stand out as having taught you the most from the fight, whether it was in a win or loss?
Yeah, I would say a loss was Keegan Genrich. Well, even in my amateur, you know, my first loss, I knew I had to work on my striking. So that's when I connected with my boxing coach, Coach Roy Ball. And, you know, he really helped my hands. And then the Genrich one was, you know, I can't over grapple, you know, over pressure. And I mean, from my wins, you know, there's always a lot of things to take. And so I would say both.
Awesome. Well, again, big shout out to all of our members on the channel who sent a question Richie's way. If you guys want to become a member of the channel, there's perks, but the best perk is being able to be part of the show, be part of the podcast, and ask.
Thank you guys.
Ask our guests some questions as well. I got 2 more here, Richie. Then I'll let you go. Do you got a Cub Swanson story for us? Because like he's one of my favorites. I don't like far from OG, right before the Reebok era, right? When I see guys who fought in the UFC with freaking sponsors on their shorts, that's still like OG wave for me. Do you got a Cub Swanson story? I know you've started training with him recently more often, but or if not Cub, someone in your gym who's just maybe a character amongst the group.
I mean, Cub's pretty chill, bro. He's funny too, but I mean, he just keeps us locked in, you know, lets us be our own self, which is awesome, you know, and he's always picking us apart and showing new things. But I would say sometimes I call him Cub Rush Swanson because he's always in a rush, you know, especially when he's in camp. But you know, a funny one is my homeboy, you know, Le'Veon Douglas. He's always cracking me up.
He's so intense too. So what makes him funny? How does he crack you up? Because he just seems so intense, like walking out in all of his interviews after a win, always yelling. Like, so is that why? Is just his intensity is what's so like funny about him?
Yeah, no, just like, I mean, we're you know, having some beers. He cracks jokes. You know, just does funny stuff. You know, always dancing around.
Nice. So he keeps the boys loose.
Yeah, keeps us loose for sure. But when he's locked in, he's locked in.
Yeah. Well, again, I hope we get to see more of that side of him when he hits out the big stage too, because very excited to see, like I said, this new wave and you guys conquering LFA, now about to conquer the UFC. Richie, this was long overdue, so thank you so much for making time for us. I know you got a busy schedule here, you know, cornering guys, helping out your team, and also happy belated birthday. I know you celebrated your birthday. Look at that, title defense and then birthday, hanging out with friends, family back to back. Like what a freaking what I mean, and now hanging out in Vegas, coaching and cornering the boys. What a 2 weeks it has been, man. But I got to quickly ask, because you brought it up to me when we were setting things up, saying you had a great time celebrating with some good food and beers. What's your go-to when it comes to beers? Because out west they got a big selection. Are you like a fancy beer guy, or are you just like, hey, I'll drink any type of cerveza?
Yeah, I mean, I like all kinds of cervezas, but number one has to be Pacifico.
Nice.
You know, Mango Cart, and then, you know, cheap ones, I got to go with Coors Light.
Let's go. Dude, prepared. I love it. You know what's crazy? So I do beer reviews on this channel, which is why I wanted to ask. I cover hockey here, of course, in Minnesota, and we work with a lot of the local craft breweries here as well. So I would say my fancier beers, and I love Pacifico too. Actually, one of our subscribers asked me to make a Mexican lager tier list last year for Cinco de Mayo, and I did. Nice. I did. So I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link to that, and you can see if you agree with my my list there. But Pacifico was up there for sure. But as far as like fancier beers, I like the West Coast hoppy IPAs.
Oh, okay, that ones are good too. Yep.
In the winter, I've never used to be a stout guy, but in the winter now, as it gets, fucking freezing here in Minnesota, you live in the good life out west. But I love stouts, but they're stouts that are aged in whiskey barrels for like a year. And they go up to like, one glass will buckle you because they're like 14-15%, but they're rich. Sometimes they infuse them with like chocolate or peanut butter or something like that. But those are as far as I'm getting like a highbrow, here's my beers, but like those are my two fancy ones. But then I tell people on the channel all the time too, like, just like with coffee, like I appreciate a good coffee at a coffee shop. If I need caffeine though, I can just drink gas station coffee. And it's the same thing with beers. It's like, I'll drink Coors Light, Hamm's, Lucky Lager. But like, if I'm going to be, if I'm going to be fancy,
be a little
like
fancy,
an IPA or a barrel-aged stout, highly recommend.
I'll have to get some out here.
Oh man. Well, like I said, this has been amazing. Before we sign off, where can the fans find you on social? Shout out any merch you got, any seminars, classes you're teaching. The floor is yours, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, El Machete, MMA 714. Richie Miranda, Facebook. Dude, if you guys want to get some merch, some Chop Shop merch, shoot me a IG message and, I'll get it to you. And I'll be teaching a seminar in Kearney, Nebraska, October 14 and 15. So if you guys are around, come check it out. And I want to just give a huge shout out to, Team Bloodline, my manager, Cub Swanson and Monty, my teammates. And a couple of sponsors. We got American Weed Co., Chronic Tacos, AMA, Raised by Lions, A5 Sports, Handy Manny, Twin J. Who else am I forgetting? Rip Jerky. So, thank you guys so much. Oh, sorry, Morenas, and who else? That's about it.
Love that you support the team. Love that you show love to the sponsors and coaches. And it's just been an absolute pleasure. Finally catching up with you, Richie here. Thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Congrats on all your success you've had thus far, sir. And we look forward to seeing you kick ass in the UFC, knock on wood, very, very soon. Cheers, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. El Machete.